Hello, my Bar None Nation. This is Chris, and this is Bar None 11970. And as always, I appreciate you guys and gals taking the time to listen to what I have to say. One of the things I love about reading people's comments is every now and then you get an inspiration through what somebody says. Basically, the video about what I'm about to talk about has to do with the last part of this comment that this person, D. Salazar, left. So shout out to D. Salazar. Basically, the last part of it is, be careful, they are watching. And I've seen that kind of stuff throughout the years, and I've had lots of people saying the reason that they don't talk about stuff or they don't make videos is because they're afraid of what's going on. Now, you have to understand, in this life, in this universe, everything is based on consent. When it comes to free will, nothing can be forced upon you. But they can scare you, they can trick you, but ultimately, in the end, you make the final decision on whether you allow something or not, even if you don't really comprehend what that means. That's why it's a lot easier to manipulate people who don't really know what's going on, because they'll think things like that are not a choice. And they'll feel like, well, I have no choice, or if I live in fear, bad things are going to happen. But if you ever wonder in life, when you worry about something so much, all of a sudden, that particular thing happens. Like I've said in several videos, when you think a little bit deeper than just what's in front of you, because the universe is made up of a lot of things you can't see, you can't hear, you can't feel, but that doesn't mean they're not there. So unfortunately, in this three-dimensional kind of plane of existence that we live in, we forget that. And universally speaking, we're basically pretty much blind, because there's lots of different spectrums that we cannot see, lots of frequencies that we will be ever unable to hear. So when you think about the fear, and I've said this so many times, fear equals control, because when you talk about fear, it's nothing more than a vibration. And fear has to do with your perception. See, you're led to believe that fear is always bad. Well, if you're about to walk up to a bear, chances are you're probably going to get killed by that bear, especially if it's a wild bear. The fear keeps you away from it, so it can keep you safe. But not all fear is always necessarily bad. I mean, how many of you have ever gone to a carnival and went on a roller coaster? Or went on some free fall ride where they just drop you? Or how many people have skydived? Those things are scary, but they're fun, aren't they? So it all comes down to perspective. And fear is a choice. So there'll be many people that will try and convince you that you have to be afraid of what is basically a movie. And the analogy I made in the response to this video is, when you are in a different vibration, yes, you can't stop them from looking at you or spying on you, but you can keep them from ever touching you. And I made the analogy like this. Just imagine there's a cobra on the ground. Now, cobras can be deadly. If it bites you, it could kill you. And if you get too close, it may just bite you just for defense, to protect itself. But just imagine you're an eagle, and you're flying way above in the sky. Now, that cobra could be staring at you the whole time, tracking your every move. It may even want to eat you because it's starving to death. But if you're flying up in the sky, in other words, a different level of vibration, it can't do anything to you unless it can convince you to land in front of it. So if that snake had the ability to talk and reason, and was talking friendly to that bird, and convinced and tricked it to come down just to have a conversation, and that bird volunteered to go down and talk to that cobra, well then, now you've reached its level, and it can strike. So it doesn't matter if you're being watched. It doesn't matter if you're being listened to. It doesn't matter what the movie says is going to happen. It only happens if you agree to it. And even if that is on a subconscious level, it doesn't mean you have to say out loud, oh, I agree or disagree. It's your belief system. So I choose, and it's a choice, to not live in fear. Now, that doesn't stop trolls from messaging me. And as you can see on my videos, there are people that have been following me for years that find pleasure in trying to say childish things, basically over my own right to have my own freedom of speech and opinion. So these communists, socialists, and fascists out there who pride themselves as quote-unquote Americans, or people who are just trying to do justice by keeping evil people like me out of the way, they are basically saying they don't appreciate somebody else's value to have their own opinion. So they'll be brutal, they'll be mean. I've gotten death threats, I've gotten phone calls from these people. I still have one of the recordings. I made a police report. And I used to let it bother me, but now I don't. Because it only affects me if I allow it, just like it will only affect you if you allow it. So if you're watching a scary movie, yes, it could be very scary. It could be even in 3D and it feels like it's coming at you. But the only way you're going to be affected by that movie is if you get so scared you die of a heart attack because you believed it to be true. So it doesn't matter if the TV screen says, I hate you and I'm coming to get you and I'm going to find you. Well, that's wonderful. But if you're out of its reach and out of its vibrational level, and when I talk about vibration, it has nothing to do with hocus pocus, magic, Satanism, devil worship, anything like that. It just has to do with simple science. Everything is made from atoms. Atoms are electricity. Electricity vibrates at different levels. That's why you'll have rocks made of the same elements as the sky around you. It all has to do with the condensing of the molecules that are in front of it or surrounding it. So a rock has the same atoms that make up the air molecules. Just the air molecules, those molecules are spread out. So they have more room to move, so they are lighter. That's why when you are full of knowledge, you are enlightened. You rise above. It's like, for example, being in your car and you're listening to the radio. Now, let's say you're tuned into 106.4. Does that mean all the other radio stations don't exist? Of course not. They do. You're just not attuned to them. So let's say on channel 100.3, there is somebody that is calling you out, threatening you, saying they're going to hurt you, saying scary things, playing music you hate, making loud, obnoxious noises. Well, if you stay on that channel, you're going to be affected by what they're doing, but that's your choice. And if you change the channel, that doesn't mean that they are no longer broadcasting that information. It just means you're no longer attuned to it. And when you realize life is that way, you will realize that you cannot change somebody else unless they want to change. So no matter what I say, the trolls and haters are going to not even listen to this. They're just going to automatically thumb it down. Or even if they did listen, which they never do, they'll make up their own evaluation of this and find something evil in it to hate me. But if I don't pay attention to what they do, then I don't have to worry. It doesn't affect me. But that doesn't mean I controlled and changed their lives, and now all the trolls are saying, you know what? Chris makes perfect sense. Now I like him. Honestly, I don't care if they like me or not. I'm not here for them. I'm here for you guys, and that's why I do videos like this. So when it comes to controlling, their job is to make you believe that things like vibration and energy and things like that are silly nonsense. It doesn't work. It doesn't exist. And when you believe that to be true, well, now you're on the same level as them. It's like that eagle coming down to the ground to be near the snake. Soar high. Let the snake look at you. Let it lick its chops. Let it threaten you all at once. It can't reach you. Don't watch a scary movie if you don't want to be scared. But also remember, fear can also be a positive thing. It can protect you. It could be exciting types of fear. There are different levels of fear. But they want you to focus on the negativity, because the negativity is a slower vibration. It keeps you more grounded. Why do they always say to you, they want you to have 2 feet on the ground? Because if you have 2 feet on the ground, you can't fly high. So whether you believe in this or not, whether you think it's nonsense or not, is irrelevant to me. What I do is speak my mind. If it resonates with people, then that's a beautiful thing. Then they can take that information and take what they want from it and maybe change their lives or do nothing with it. I can't control what anyone does. But make no mistake, I do this for me. It's for my own clarity. Anybody else that appreciates it and likes it and benefits from it is a bonus. And on the same token, I no longer care if somebody's offended by what I say, or they hate me for what I say, because I have the freedom to say whatever I want. And I choose to speak this way for people that come here because they wish to listen. So everything is a choice. Whether you understand that or not, everything is a contract. Everything is a trust. The more you understand that when you make a conversation with somebody, you are actually creating a form of trust. Control is easy when you scare people. And that's what happened with my first channel. My original channel that started back in 2010 was Barn on 11967. Back then, I didn't know anything about trolls and haters. It actually used to offend me that people would hate me for just wanting to help them. I understood that I wasn't an expert. I understood I didn't know everything right, but my intent was to try and help people. And I got people that hated me for it, made fun of me for it. And in my quote-unquote real life, being a DJ, being a massage therapist, being a lead singer of a band, all these other things that I've done, I've never had enemies. So it actually confused me back then. It's like, why would people hate me and say such nasty things? And it actually got me to the point where I wanted to fight some of them. And one of them, to this day, still checks out my channel. What's up, News Unit? If you're listening this far. And actually, I wanted to fight him at one point. It's just silly. I let them get to me. But that was my choice. Now I choose to no longer let it affect me. No longer let their opinions bother me. Because their opinions only hurt is if I allow them to. Because in the end, they don't put food on my table. They don't tuck me in at night. They don't tell me they love me. They're not there for me when I need them. So if they want to be angry and bitter, look at the difference between how I started. If you've been following me for years, you could see the difference of how I was when I first started, especially my older channel, Barn on 11967, which no longer exists, till today. And you'll notice the same haters and trolls that have been harassing and threatening me and saying nasty things video after video, day after day, week after week, year after year, are still bitter and angry and the same person they were when they found me years ago, still saying the same things. So I don't worry about them. I feel sorry for them. I wish they would actually change their negativity into something positive. If they focused all of their energy on doing something good instead of wanting to hate on somebody like me because they don't like me or like my message or like my opinion or my right, therefore, to have it, and they did something good, just imagine what a better place this would be. And I hope more people decide to do that. I hope you decide after listening to this video that you realize that everything in life is a choice. Especially if you're religious, you know all about free will. So why would you let somebody else influence you based on fear, which is based on your choice? Use it to motivate you. Like they say, when the world hands you lemons, make lemonade. And maybe sometimes if somebody's coming at you with that lemon and they're being rude and nasty and want to hurt you, that lemon could make some nice lemon juice right in their eye. I don't think they'd like that, but hey, you get what you give. So there are things that I talk about that are strange, that are different, that are things you do not hear on TV, that you do not hear from politicians. But let me tell you something. How many things do you learn on TV and from politicians and the media that benefit you, that make you feel good, that makes you see improvement in this world? Think this world is getting better? Or do you think it's getting worse? Just because you get more entertainment and more distractions doesn't mean the world is being better. You know, like Britney Spears' song, Dance Until the World Ends. If you want to, instead of trying to save the world, you want to just dance until it ends, well, you're pretty much responsible for allowing it to end because you did nothing to try and fix it. But enjoy the dance. By all means, that's what they're counting on. So keep wasting your time with all the frivolous stuff that makes you disillusioned to the truth of what could potentially happen. Dance while a tsunami wave is coming towards you. Yeah, you might have the last few seconds of fun, but you know what? You could have done something to get away from there so you can have a lifetime of fun. Don't just see what's right in front of you. See what's ahead of you. Pay attention. Or don't. Again, it all comes down to choice. But I choose to be the eagle flying soarly high in the air. Let the snakes look at me all they want. Let them drool. Let them wish I would come down. Let them threaten me. Let them convince me and pretend to be my friend. I've had many trolls do that. They make false accounts and pretend to be my friend. A lot of times I just play along with them because, I mean, if they think I'm that stupid, that's fine. I'll play the game. I've even told some of them straight out. It's like, listen, I know you're playing a game, and I have fun with it. Let them believe what they want. That's their choice. Fly high. And let the haters and the people that want to scare you make all the things they want to hurt you. They can't reach you. But they'll make you scared enough to think that they can. Fly high.